citywide curfew is in effect and police are out in full force trying to get people off the streets. It's the fourth night of the curfew, but the first since the city state's attorney announced charges in Freddie Gray's custody death. Now, WJZ is live with complete coverage. Derek Valcourt stays on the investigation. Rick Ritter has emotional reaction from across the city, but let's get right to Christy Aletto and the curfew arrests being made. Christy?
Well, Denise, we're an hour into that curfew being into effect, and there's still a very heavy police presence here at Holiday and Fayette Street. And I want to set the scene here because when we arrived, we saw a lot of protesters sitting on the lawn of the City Hall demonstrating their civil disobedience. Let's cut to this video because it's pretty interesting. You can see that the chopper says, it's time to go because you're breaking curfew, and all of a sudden you see people running towards Fayette and Holiday. Some of them are being tackled, clubbed by officers again because they are breaking the curfew. From what we saw, and there's no definitive number from Baltimore City Police, but from what we saw, it looked like at least a dozen people were arrested. Now, these are the same protesters that Nate and I were out with all afternoon and evening who were trying to emphasize this peaceful demonstration, peaceful protest, again saying the fight isn't over. And of course, they were again breaking the curfew enforcement that has been in place for the last 4 days. And again, many of them being carted away in the wagons, I'd say about a half hour ago because of those curfew violations. Now, again, we were out with them all afternoon and evening. They say that this fight has not over. It's a good thing that the charges have been brought to those 6 officers, but there's still a long way to go before justice for Freddie can happen. What do we want? 13 days of protests yields the answers many had hoped for.
And here we are today as a proud city being able to say that we're charging people who committed a crime, who allegedly committed a crime. And, it's actually happening now.
The state's attorney's office slaps the 6 officers involved in Gray's arrest with criminal charges. His death, now a homicide.
They did a thorough investigation.
Juan was one of Gray's best friends.
No more sitting home on your couch. No more getting paid. You murdered somebody and you condoned in it, and you belong in jail.
We need to keep the pressure on because we need these officers convicted.
Marchers say the fight isn't over. They loop the city, stopping at City Hall, the jail, and Western Police District, arguing the curfew should be lifted and the National Guard should go.
No one's burning down any more buildings. No one's really riding, going into any more stores. Everything is more peaceful.
But Saturday, Baltimore is gearing up for one of its largest protests since Gray's death.
I'm hoping everybody is just going to peacefully return to their lives and we can go home and get back to work and let the city get back to normal.
Concerns linger from the looting that swept parts of the city last weekend and exploded earlier this week into violence. Do you feel like the system is now helping Freddie?
Right now, this is just one step to the beginning.
A first step to bring peace to a riot-torn city. Now, there is a massive protest planned for tomorrow at noon. And again, the curfew will also be in place. So a lot of people really don't want to have what happened again tonight happen again over the weekend. And Baltimore City Police say they plan to have the exact number of the arrests made public tomorrow that happened again tonight. And again, all of the arrests rather happened because they were curfew violations. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Christy.